For those of you who don't know, my name is Heydee, and today my topic is on Planned Parenthood, which I'm sure most of you are familiar on. And my major claim is that Planned Parenthood is a vital part of the U.S. healthcare system. So going into my secondary claims. So one is Planned Parenthood provides affordable access to sexual, reproductive, and general health care. And they provide healthcare services up to 41% of all, that didn't make sense. They provide services to 41% of Title X patients. And for those of you who don't know what Title X is, Title X is a program, a government-run program that funds healthcare centers like Planned Parenthood and other centers. And they provide affordable birth control and reproductive health care. And one of the services that Planned Parenthood provides is a wide variety of affordable contraception, which could be IUDs, birth control pills, shots, patches, and obviously there's more, but those are just some main ones. Okay, and some statistical data for you guys. Some of the contraception that I listed, more specifically, actually no, not specific, just contraception in general. They helped women avoid 822,300 unintended pregnancies in 2015 and 387,200 unplanned births, and 277,000 abortions were avoided because of these contraceptions that were made available to these women. And my second point is that other general health services that they include would be vaccinations. So vaccinations against influenza, hepatitis, HPV, which is the human papillomavirus, but HPV, high blood pressure, breast cancer screenings, and of course STI screenings. And the second point is that Planned Parenthood also offers options for women who are pregnant. So if they decide to move forward with their pregnancy, they're able to get prenatal care, birth classes, I believe, and what else do they have? Childbirth classes, postpartum exams, and yeah, those are basically the services that they offer, from your general health to sexual. And on to my second point, Planned Parenthood offers a variety of services for the LGBTQ community, and they offer educational services about sexual orientation and gender, which I feel like they're, like the LGBTQ community, they suffer with because they don't know, they just have their own issues if they're transgender, gay, whatever. Different range of problems, but there's that option for them. And also there's a support group for those problems that they might have with their body or however they may be feeling. And also hormone therapy treatment is available at an affordable cost for transgender patients who are transitioning. Okay, last one. Planned Parenthood is the single largest provider of sex education in the United States. And according to PlannedParenthoodAction.org, which is their other website, aside from their main website, which has information about health and stuff, this is more the political side, so explaining how they support, like how they're fighting against certain not laws, but just Trump administration has been trying to take away funding pretty much. So that page is kind of their support and information that people could get to support their cause. But according to that website, their educators reach 1.5 million people with education all across elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools. And they have online chat programs that anyone can ask questions if they don't have those resources at school. And they go over subjects such as decision-making, birth control, STIs, healthy relationships, consent, body image, anatomy, and puberty. And that's
Right. The proposition is clearly identified. It's a little broad in it's talking about it being a vital part of the U.S. healthcare system. So I'd need to know exactly what vital is. Like, is there a percentage? Is there a way we could measure it or compare it to the rest of the healthcare system? If it were to disappear, for instance, would there be an absence of healthcare for these folks? I think that's where the controversy is. You mentioned at one point the attempt by the Trump administration to reduce funding for Planned Parenthood. That seems like it ought to be at the beginning of the speech, because that's the justification for really talking about this issue, that Planned Parenthood is under attack in terms of the amount of financing that it gets, and that financing is necessary in order to provide these services, which would be unavailable in some other way. And that's the way I think the argument needs to develop a little bit. The one place where you do tell us a little bit of information about this is on that first point, where you say that they provide 41% of the coverage for Title X programs. And you have a brief explanation of what the Title X, or Title X, however you want to call it, programs are, but I don't know how many people that covers. I don't know how many people are covered by Title X or Title X, and whether or not they have access to any other services, and that's where the controversy is. The notion that Planned Parenthood provides some healthcare services on the second point, which I thought was the second point, but then you had another second point, so I think you're a little inconsistent in your numerical signposting. But they have that these other services that they provide, like vaccination for a variety of things, breast cancer screening, and also screening for women who are pregnant, that sort of thing. That's another one of those things where I think this comes right off of the Planned Parenthood list. It's like a brochure. What services do we provide? Here are the services that we provide, which is perfectly fine, but that's just a description of their services. I don't know what the argument is. The argument has to be that these services would be unavailable, or that there's some problem if Planned Parenthood is not able to provide those services, and I'm not sure that you do much other than describe what Planned Parenthood claims to provide as services, and I think there's more to the argument than that. On the LGBTQ issue, the same sort of thing. You list a whole bunch of services that they provide. Is there an absence of those services from some other location? How many people does it serve? Is the are the funding cuts, for instance, that are proposed so substantial that those services would be affected? It's not clear where the controversy is on this subject. Too much of what's going on here is a description of what Planned Parenthood does, rather than an argument about why it's needed. The closest that you get to helping make a stronger argument are some statistics about the number of people that get helped. You do have some information about pregnancies that are avoided, abortions that are avoided, a variety of things that are altered because of Planned Parenthood's actions. I think that's the one place where there's something here that's a little bit more substantive. But again, I think the controversy is whether or not that could be provided someplace else. I think you need to get the argument a little bit more in shape. Like I said, organizationally, I heard point number 2 at least twice, and I thought I heard it a third time also. And that's just practice that would fix that. So that's nothing to panic about, but you want to get that straight. All right, thank you.